yet, but all general signs indicate that we are up and running. So I will await the stats meter, which just turned to excellent. Good. And let's get my iPad, thankfully not on 2% battery, linked up here. Yeah, wasn't even thinking about that. It's funny, completely missed that. Okay, let's switch. I don't know why it goes to top chat by default. It should be live chat. I don't know, the top chat thing doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe on bigger channels it does, I don't know. Doesn't make sense for me, I can tell you that. Don't enjoy the fact that it defaults to top chat. What is defined as top chat? I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I've switched it to live chat, which I would assume is chronological. I actually don't know that either. Never bothered to look. Again, maybe if there ever comes a day where I have that many people showing up, it's never going to happen. But if it ever were to happen, then I can pay attention to things like that. Until that day comes, I'm not going to be concerned about it. All I care about is Twitch is live, YouTube is live, I see the chat window. I just have to double check my reflector settings and make sure that they are correct. All right, they look good. I will give this a minute or two in case anybody shows up. I don't need my keyboard. Do not need this. So I'm going to go ahead and shut it off because I've realized I'm just going to respond verbally. I do need to look into a way to have the chat text. If it ever becomes, I'd like to know how. I don't think it's actually useful for the size of my channel at this point. For the amount of people that show up, which is not many. I don't think it's a priority. But it would be nice to know how to do it in case I ever would like to. Chat rate 1. Does that mean a chat is going to show up in a second? I assume that. I don't know. What is the little settings bubble? What is this thing yelling at me about? It's not... What? There's nothing in here. What is it talking about? Show mod icons, chat highlights, deleted messages, scroll only, screen reader, auto announce. Okay, whatever. There's nothing there. Yeah, I don't know why it says chat rate 1. Nobody said anything unless it's just delayed. Doesn't matter. Drink of water. Drink of water. One of the few examples, water, where your body makes something delicious that's good for you. Many of the things that we have been conditioned to think are delicious are not good for us anymore. But water remains important and great. So that's a plus. All right, let's go ahead and kick this thing off. Get our opening running. There she is. And we're going to keep working on my little mini disc thing here. So give that a minute. Let that clear out. Boy, I'm happy that works. I may at some point create a new intro, but I like that. I like the Art Deco thing. It's simple. You know, it doesn't have to be... Things don't have to be overly complicated to be good. So this is where we left off last time. For anybody who has seen that video. I'm not going to say watch live. I don't... Oh, no. I think somebody did. I think Faint Waves showed up for the last stream. So, Faint Waves would be the only one who would have seen it. This is where we left off, where I was putting in some more shading areas that I'm going to block in. Hi, cutie. I'm talking to my dog. You may be cute as well, whoever's watching. I don't know. But when I said that, I was talking to my dog. Because she was staring at me from the doorway. Okay, is this an empty layer? Oh, it is. Sensational. Let's go ahead and jump over to our ink brush here. Check the size. Oh, that's wrong. Come on. There we are. What is my dog doing? I hear a noise. What are you doing? Oh. Toy. I don't know what... I heard like a... I want to make sure she wasn't trying to eat something she shouldn't have, but that's a toy that she's meant to chew on, so that's okay. There may be some background noise from a couple of sources. One would be my desktop, which is doing some encoding, so it may be running a little bit loud. Still nothing as loud as my old machine, which you definitely could hear. I have my fan running, and the AC may kick on because in California, it doesn't become spring. It just goes instantly to summer. So today's Let's see, today's high. Let's take a look. Let's do the David Lynch weather report. Northern. Sorry about that. Oh, it's telling me I'm live. Thank you very much. Northern California weather report for Thursday, April 18th, 2024. This is my David Lynch impression, which is garbage. Currently, conditions are clear with a high of 81 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 55. West-northwesterly winds expected to be 5 to 7 miles an hour. Pay dirt. Okay, that's the end of that. So yes, 80s. Went from low 50s to 80s in the course of a day. At one time I looked at my phone and said 21 degrees warmer. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the climate's fine. Nothing's going on. Anyway. Okay. I mean, what's funny is how many people who normally would not agree that there's something going on with the climate are now starting to agree on it, which I find very funny. We're ignoring it until things started getting really wonky, and then suddenly, oh yeah, there might be a problem going on here, you think? Okay. Nice of you to notice. All this time later. But again, we're not going to get too far into that. Okay, so let's jump. I just had to fix that. That was bugging me. Okay, let's see here. Oh! I saw today on the wish list options for Steam, a game that I reviewed a while ago, did some live plays of, which is excellent, called The Exit 8. I said in many of my playthroughs I really hoped it got a sequel, and it's getting a sequel, which is called The Platform 8, I believe, where it takes place on a subway train. That is sensational. I wishlisted that. That will be a day one purchase. I often counsel people not to buy day one, but that is an exception I'm willing to make because, as far as I can tell from the trailer for it, they're really not altering the formula all that much. It's not going to be a drastic departure. And I really like their other thing on it, so I will stream that one as well. I will play that one live because I really enjoyed The Exit 8 a lot. I recommended it to everybody. Simple, inexpensive little game that I had a blast with. Really did. I really had a great time with that game. I got to replay it sometime soon. Maybe I'll replay it before I play the Platform 8. I don't know if it had a release date, but I don't care. Whenever. Can't imagine it'll take that long. I mean, like I said, I think it's the same basic approach. I shouldn't say that. I don't know what's involved in development. It could be one person working on weekends in between a real job. I shouldn't say real job, like game development isn't a real job. Because I think this is a small kind of independent project through the job that's paying the bills to allow for game development. I'll say it like that. I shouldn't say real job like game development isn't a real job. It absolutely is. I couldn't program a game to do anything. Are you kidding? I got the brains for programming. Oh, man. I've seen people who are developers talking about code, and I've seen, like, people post screenshots and stuff of the code they're developing for help from people, and I'm just, I'm out in the weeds, baby. I have no idea what you're talking about. Yes, I understand that's code, but no, I have no idea what you're talking about. That's my approach to it. So I should not have said real job, but day job maybe. Because I think The Exit 8 is basically a passion project. A great one. One I enjoy quite a bit, but I think, did I miss a piece of green? Is that what that is? Did I just miss a little layer of green in there? Hold on, I gotta turn the background color on. Well, I can't tell because the background color is the same color, so. Oh yeah, no, that's what it is. I missed an element of green in here. This color has ungrown on me. I don't like it as much as I did initially, so that color will likely change, but that's for another time. We're not gonna worry about that for this particular stream. We're gonna stick with what we're doing here. So let's go back to True Black, as I like to call it. It's not True Black. It's digital black, so it can't be True Black. True Black, short of that Vanta Black or whatever they call it, probably doesn't exist. But I like to say True Black, meaning the blackest that this thing can go for line work, which I will always... I should do an inverted image at some point in the near future. I had fun, though. The few times I've done them, I've liked them a lot. And what I mean by an inverted image is a black canvas and the illustration is in lighter colors like white or bright colors, so it seems to be emerging from darkness. I always mean to do more of that, and I always forget to do it for some reason. My default is just to go to, you know, oh, hold on a minute. Call coming in. Give me a minute. Let me answer this. Give me a minute. I will be right back, everybody. Sorry about that. If any of you are technically inclined, you are probably, hey, Faint Waves, how you doing? Good timing. If any of you are in the tech support, everything right now, all is well. I hope it's the same for you. Yeah, if you do any type of, or have any type of computer knowledge, you are probably very familiar with the frantic call from a family member saying, I don't know what's going on with my computer / laptop / phone. And as is probably the case for many people, that was my mother, who had gotten an email that she thought was an account lock from Amazon, even though I've told her a bunch of times, Amazon is not going to contact you and ask for your password. That is a scam. But I will say this. I appreciate the fact that she didn't do anything. She called me first. Even if I had to explain for longer than I should have, that no, I'm telling you, Amazon is not going to contact you. At least they're not going to contact you and ask for a password. They may send you a warning, you might get an alert, whatever, but they're going to tell you to contact them. They're not going to say, send us your password or send us money. I mean, this one wasn't a send us money, but she's had those where it's like, it was a Microsoft one. Microsoft support, your computer is infected with viruses. Give us your credit card number and we'll fix it right away. No, they won't. No, Mom. They won't do that. I promise. Microsoft doesn't care. Microsoft could not care less past alerting you that your computer is infected with viruses. In fact, listen, there's probably people at Microsoft who'd be very happy if your computer burst into flames and you had to buy a new one every year. Trust me. It's not like they're selling a ton of PCs. So they'd be thrilled. I think her next computer will be a Mac, though. I think I gotta get her off Windows. There's too many annoyances. Too much tech support for me on things that I'm pretty sure are bad Windows updates. Which, you know, and I know this is easy for me to say sitting here doodling on an iPad as somebody who does not do OS support or development. But you'd think at this point in Microsoft's lifespan, they may have figured out how to properly roll out updates in ways that don't break fundamental things. And yet, and I'll just leave it at that. But I understand OS development is hard, especially when you're supporting so many legacy machines. But there are these things that should be caught. Big things. Little things like, okay, when you move your cursor over here, it turns purple for a minute. You know, notable, silly, but not going to destroy your workflow, not going to make it where you lose a Word document because, oh, I don't know, OneDrive decided to just not save properly and corrupt your document. Not that type of stuff. Purple cursor, People can moan and complain about it, but they'll get over it. losing an entire folder in OneDrive. Not gonna know that so much. Didn't I do that? Oh, I did do the dark color. Okay. So, what was I talking about before that call came in? Oh, I think it's called, is it called the Station 8? Hold on, I want to see. Let me look at that game. I just happened because I saw the Exit 8 got a update. Oh, I forgot to turn my keyboard off. Hold on, I want to tell you. I don't remember. I think it's called the Station. No, it wouldn't be called. It'd be called like the Train 8. Hold on. Let's see. Just because I really did have such a great time with that game that I want to promote as much as I can. The next one, here it is. Platform 8. Yes, Platform 8. Oh man, when is it going to be out? Does it say? Scheduled for end of April or May. Wow. And it says also differs from Exit 8. Well, I'm curious how it differs. But I can't wait. I can't wait. Okay. Anyway. I could have shared the webpage and all that stuff. I would have had to do a bunch of things. Anyway, just go look for Platform 8 Steam. You search for that, you'll find it. I am thrilled. I am thrilled that game is getting a sequel. I will support that instantly. I had such a good time with Exit 8. I really want to see what they're going to do with Platform 8. Because, I mean, even though it says it's differing, it's got to be pretty similar. Otherwise, you wouldn't give it the 8 thing again. Because I'm assuming you have to probably survive, or you probably have to go to 8 stops to get off the train. My assumption. Maybe the actual mechanics work differently, or it's going to be a more horror-based or like sci-fi-based or something game. I don't know. I look forward to finding out what it is. Because I really, really liked Exit 8. I mean, I was genuinely really, for how cheap it was. I think it's a $2 game or something like that. For how much entertainment I got out of that. There are games I've paid way more than $2 for. Or maybe it was $4. Whatever it was absolutely worth it. I have paid way more than that game charged and been far less entertained. Let's put it that way. So I was very pleasantly, and you know, I know I did a 5 on it, and I know I did several streams on the show YouTube channel about it, so you can go find those if you are so inclined to see what I liked about it, which was a lot. And yeah, so can't wait for Platform 8. And then I was watching, just before I started the stream, I've been watching videos by, or YouTube videos by Tim Kaine, one of the original creators of the first, no, I shouldn't say original, one of the creators of the original Fallout game, Fallout 1, and he was involved in Fallout 2 and then left because decisions were getting made without his input, which I completely understand why he would be like, nope, I'm not sticking around for that. Fascinating guy. Somebody who I cannot find. I haven't looked too extensively, but I did not easily find contact information for him. That may be very intentional. But if I can find it, I would certainly want to do a show with him because I could. He talks a lot on his channel about Fallout, so I don't think he has any problem talking about the making of it and the background of it, because I would love to actually get into the weeds with somebody on that who worked on it and really kind of delve into the making of the game, the impact of it, what he thinks of where the series has gone. He seems pretty frank about stuff. I don't think he'd have any problem, talking about things that, because he did mention in one of his videos that he did not like the fact that Fallout 4 had synths, meaning robots, not synthesizers that people play music on. I don't know that I spotted any synths that you play music on in Fallout 4. If I did, if they're there, they're well hidden. So no, it was the synthetic mechanoids in the video where he's talking about cut content from the original game. I believe he said that somebody had actually come up with an idea very similar to that. Robots that were very similar to the synths from Fallout 4. Not exactly the same, but similar enough. And that he had rejected it, saying it didn't make sense because in the original Fallout, the aesthetic that they were going for, the reference points that they were using were Robbie the Robot, which is because he described it as a very Terminator type of machine. And so the idea of using sleek robots did not fit with the aesthetic and the inspirational touch points of the game. So to then see it showing up in Fallout 4, he was not the biggest fan of it. Didn't necessarily oppose it, as he said, and he is correct at this point as well. Bethesda owns it. They can do whatever they want. But he didn't think it fit in there. And, I never really thought about it before. But, yeah, when you look at the synths next to, the Protectrons and everything else, and the Assaultrons and all that stuff, they do look a little weird. They don't seem to fit. I don't think it's necessarily... I mean, look, who am I to say, compared to the person who really helped originate the entire game series? I think because the Institute is what it is, I don't think it is necessarily out of nowhere. The Institute, and apologies if you haven't played Fallout 4, although I don't even know if this would count as a spoiler, but the Institute definitely seems to be a cutting-edge scientific organization. So it somewhat makes sense that they might have a cutting-edge robot that nobody else did. I don't think that's necessarily completely out of left field, but at the same time, I do agree it doesn't necessarily feel like a very organic fit for Fallout because of all the other robots, and none of the other ones have updates. And so there's this very weird aesthetic difference between the synths and the Protectrons, as I said, the Protectrons, Robo-Brains, all these that feel like throwbacks. I didn't think of anything. Faintwave says, I didn't think anything of it until now. Only upon pointing it out do they feel like... I'm largely the same way. I did notice the other day, and follows up, a one-off synth character would almost make more sense, like a Aaron Turman or Nick Valentine. Nick Valentine, just by himself, as the only one that looked like that, and then his brother. I can't remember the brother's name that you end up finding in the Lost Far Harbor, wherever that DLC takes place. Excellent DLC. If those two have been the only ones, kind of like Data and Lore, then it would be much different, as one-offs. Yeah. No, Nick Valentine is the reason to play Fallout 4, because a lot of people have correctly pointed out that there's some things about that game that are a little lesser, but Nick Valentine for me erases any of my flaws with 4. It just blows them away. I don't care. Nick Valentine's so cool. Such a wonderfully done character. And that character feels like it belongs in the Fallout universe because it's a throwback character. See, that's exactly where you can offset something like that. So even though the design feels very modern and new, the character's way of being and speaking and everything else offsets the fact that he looks so different from all the other mechanoids. But yes, the only thing I noticed on this playthrough is I did for some reason start to kind of really examine the synths in the loading screen, and I did kind of think to myself at one point that, yeah, these things, the Robo-Brains, I was thinking about the Robo-Brains having the brain in the actual jar or whatever on the thing. And I remember thinking when I was seeing the loading screen, wow, yeah, these synths are really, really way ahead of the other ones. But I didn't think much of it because, again, the Institute, made sense. But like I said, it doesn't bother me in quite the same way I think it does Tim Kaine, who seemed to be a little more bothered by it. It's not concerning to me that way. But yeah, once you notice it and you think about all the other robots, they do kind of stick out. It's true. So I understand where he's coming from. I would love to talk to him. I would be thrilled just to talk to him about the experience of making... And maybe it's something else where it's like, okay, I've talked about this so many times because I'm sure... I mean, but then again, his channel is a lot of Fallout stuff. So I would think if he was really sick of it, that he probably wouldn't do a YouTube channel that has a lot of that stuff in there. But then again, maybe it's fine when he's doing it because he's deciding what he wants to talk about. So I understand that. Not everybody wants to talk about stuff, especially with random weirdos like me. So, like I said, I'm not going to go crazy trying to find a contact mechanism. But if I do come across a possible contact point, then I will reach out. There, and I may never hear back. There are people like that. There's people I've reached out to a couple times. Never ever got any type of response. That happens. Not a big deal. It makes me appreciate more people who do say, Oh, and honestly, that hasn't happened too many times either. That's the other thing, is I really haven't had too many people who responded who were like, nah. Most people who respond generally end up coming on the show. So that's another thing where if I don't ever hear a response, that's kind of that's the unsubtle way of saying not interested. Hey, happens. These people owe me nothing. So, whoa, wrong brush. Especially because I don't have 4 million listeners that I can be like, oh, I can help you reach a big audience. No, I can't. No, I can't. Are you kidding? No, I can't. I have a small, very loyal, very dedicated audience, which to me, if we're being honest, is better. I will take long-running people who genuinely enjoy the content over 100,000 people who jump on a popularity train because 100,000 other people are listening to it. That's definitely more of my thing, which of course it would be. I've been doing this for so long now. If that wasn't true, I would have bailed by now. If I was in it for the money, I would be gone. And I laugh not because we don't make any money from the show. I'm just saying podcasting in general. You ain't in it for the money for the most part. Some people can manage it. Some people do find that. Good for them. Because it's few and far between. And keeping it running, keeping the money coming in for a while, that's the trick. And not many people manage that very effectively. And I'm always impressed when somebody does, because it means they're onto something. Like every other creative endeavor, it's not easy to do. So it is impressive when somebody can make a run of it, especially podcasting, because the ad floor is just falling out of that. So not going to be a place where a lot of people make money on it at the moment, unless you're a big name. And even then, even big names, I think people are coming to the realization that a lot of these celebrity-driven podcasts are pretty much all the same. Not just in terms of who's producing them, but in terms of the way that their content is. There's a lot of similarity in there. You hear it a lot. There's a lot of similar stuff. I didn't notice it for a while, but boy, do I notice it now. Just so much similarity in what people are doing. It's crazy. I mean, I shouldn't say that. It isn't crazy. It's actually very smart. They figured out a niche. They've attached a name to it, and now they're capitalizing on it. So I shouldn't say it's crazy. It's actually marketing 101. It's just the way it goes. I don't know. Maybe this green is growing on me again. I didn't like this color when I started this, but now that I'm looking at it, I think part of it is because on the computer screen, it shows up so much more vividly green than it does on the iPad screen. So I don't actually know which one is more true. I'm going to go with I don't know, this is a good calibrated monitor, but the iPad screen's pretty good too. Huh. I'm going to leave it alone for now. I can look at it on a couple different screens and see. It's fine. I'm not going to be overly concerned with it. It's not vital to get that exactly correct at the moment. Faintwave says, on the topic of money, creativity, and the web, you might have an opinion on this. Looks, man, I got an opinion on everything. Not a good one necessarily. So I'm looking to snap up the Faintwave's domain. Oh my God, you have to get it. Oh. Yeah. Sorry. Let me. I was just being like, hey, get it. Let me read this in its entirety. So I'm looking to snap up the Faintwaves domain. I assume you mean faintwaves.com or faintwavesmusic.com, as it's out there and available for cheap. Well, number one, if you're even debating it, get it. You can always just get it for a year. Usually get it for a cheap price when you do it in the beginning. So anybody who's hearing this, whenever, if you even have a hunch that you want to get a domain, just get it. Just get it, because I have bought many domains that I later went, what are you, a moron? But usually the first year is heavily discounted, unless you're really trying for a vanity domain. But the first year is usually relatively cheap. I'm talking $15 or cheaper for a year. And if you realize you didn't want to do anything with it, you just let it expire. So don't do an auto renew. That's a good tip. Ooh, just hiccup. Sorry. That probably got picked up. Oh, I don't know where that came from. Get the domain. Get the domain. So that's number one. First thing. No hesitation. Anybody, just buy it. I just bought one that I had the spelling wrong on. I talked about this on the show that's going to come out tomorrow. That my idiot inability to spell means I bought... I made such a big deal over the last 2 shows as of this live stream of getting this fantastic domain for the support mechanism for our show. I was sure, positive, that I had purchased supporttheshow.com, and I was astonished that nobody had it. And I thought, wow, me, a genius, has found this and bought it without even hesitating. Come to find out, I didn't buy Support the Show. I bought Support the Show. Missing a T. Yeah, because I'm an idiot. But I then figured out that Support Our Show was available and grabbed that. So Support the Show will just lapse. So even if you only a year, whatever, I'm out $14. It's fine. Don't get me wrong, $14 is a different amount to different people, but you can get domains relatively cheap. So that's the first thing. Get it. Just get it. Going on. What are your thoughts on sites to use just to have a simple website up? I've been looking at WordPress, just to have a very simple thing that I can throw stuff on and have a site, quote, site up with my domain. I'm getting it tomorrow, no worries. Haha, yeah. Oh, sorry. I know people who have literally waited, and I mean, you're saying tomorrow, that's fine. But the next day, me being one of them, there was a domain, I don't remember what it was at this point, that I thought of, and I'm like, oh, that's really clever. And the next day it was gone. I mean, that's just the nature of an interconnected world. There is no, because this is telling you my age. When I was younger, if there was a store and there was only one thing left in that store, you knew the store's closing time. You were pretty confident that if you got there first thing the next day, you could get that thing. Well, that doesn't exist in the internet anymore. That's a completely foreign concept compared to what it used to be. So yeah, when I say get it right away, that's why I say that. As far, yeah, WordPress would be good. Something like Wix would work. I'm trying to remember. Let me take a quick look at something. So I'm going to be briefly not drawing for a second. I want to look at... Oh, the keyboard's on. Okay, good. I don't think Behance is free. I believe you need an Adobe account for Behance because I do think there is a free Adobe... Oh, but that's not really a site. That's more for visual, so that really wouldn't work. No, that really wouldn't be for music. I keep forgetting. Adobe there's probably music on... Is there even music on Behance? There probably is, but it's not like... No, it's not. That's not what it's made for. So, yeah, I would say WordPress is a good one. For a simple page, let's take a look. I want to see if any of these names come across to me. Well, there's WordPress, so that's definitely one. I'm just looking to see if anybody... Here we go, 2024. Let me see if any of these names stick out to me. Wix comes up. GoDaddy, I would not put anything on GoDaddy. Strikingly, I've never even heard... Oh, previewing sample sites, best page for easy page editing, best for personal website, Doric? Never even heard of Doric. What the hell is Doric? Best for building free sites is Wix. I figured that. That's interesting. I wonder why WordPress isn't on here. Because of I wonder if it's because of the expertise that you have to know something for it. Oh, really? The only thing with Wix is, because I would recommend Wix, because I have looked at it and it is very easy to use. The only problem with Wix is if you don't want to keep using them. But for a free site, you might not care. Let's see. Well, this isn't free. What were they talking about? Yeah, I would say maybe WordPress would be a good option. Wix might be a good backup. Just because, like I said, it's pretty easy. And if you're just looking as a simple jump-off point where you want to connect to stuff and not necessarily care about it in the long term, then that's fine. I would say that. But yeah, I would see if WordPress is, if you're comfortable building on that, I think that's a good. WordPress backs a lot of some of the biggest sites on the internet. I use Squarespace. It's not free, though. Squarespace it just does everything I want it to, so that's why I get it, but it is definitely not free. It is absolutely not free, especially if you start getting into the commercial end of it, like selling stuff on it. Oh, it ain't free. But I don't mind paying for that because I actually use it for a lot of stuff, but both for my personal artwork and for our show stuff. So I've kind of... It's worth it to me, but I can't say it would be worth it for everybody. It is definitely not free, and it is not cheap. I mean, I just saw it. It crashed. No problem. I got it. It's not I wouldn't say it's not terribly expensive. I'm going to get a drink of water really quick. There we go. Compared to some stuff I've seen. And you can go way up that pricing tier. But I like it. I find it easy to use, and it has just enough on the... I guess I'm on the standard plan. I don't even know what I'm on. It's the one that's like $100 a year. But it has just enough of the advanced tools. The advanced tools that are gated off are just above what I need. So it's in a perfect position for me. But I understand that's not for everybody. And it is not... it is definitely not on the cheaper end. It can run expensive. So I understand that's not going to be a solution for everybody. It is for me. But WordPress, like I said, WordPress has been around forever. I know a lot of people, a lot of big organizations that use it for the back end of whatever they're doing. So yeah, I would think that'd be... I didn't even realize I had a free version. I thought WordPress had gone all paid. So that's even better because I wouldn't even have thought of them. My first instinct was Wix because I know that's free. But I don't... like I said, I would not use GoDaddy. I'm trying to... I'm going to be moving our domains off GoDaddy because they are getting really, really scummy in their aggressive kind of upselling stuff. So the last couple domains, Support the Show, ironically enough, and Support Our Show, I bought through Hover because, at least as of right now, and this could change in 5 minutes, this could change before the stream's over because this is the nature of the world now. That could they have all these no upsell promises. They don't upsell anything. You just get everything. Very similar pricing to GoDaddy, slightly more, but not enough of an increase that I even have to think about it. You're talking about maybe $1 or $2. I mean, that's it. And for what they're providing, that is well worth it. Like I said, that is no guarantee that they will not change that policy in 15 minutes or less. Geico, we'll change our policy in 15 minutes or less. So I'm not saying that that's a guarantee. It's no guarantee of anything. But I also don't do multi-year commitments on domains for that reason. I want to be able to jump right out. I mean, I do a year, but I don't do any more than a year because that way, if I'm unhappy with a company, I'm not tied to them forever. And I could transfer out earlier, but then if you pay for 3 years and get angry and transfer out, well, you've paid already. You're not getting that money back. So I'd rather... Losing a year is one thing. 3 years could be a different number. So, yeah, I would say WordPress. I think that's a pretty safe bet just to try, see how you like it. And by all means, let me know if you like it because I'd be curious in case anybody else asks me. I haven't had a free site that I've done in so long that, like I said, I kind of came up blank outside of Wix because I've been on Squarespace for, jeez, I don't even know how long now. I mean, there's sort of an irony. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Where, I have Behance and I have Squarespace. I have all these pages for different things, so it's kind of funny. Faintwave says, sounds good. That'll be what I do most of the day tomorrow then. Well, that's fun. Building a website's fun. I really, I was talking to, I want to say it was Aunt Pruitt about this, about, the depressing thing that nobody goes to websites anymore, or very few, or or most websites are what you're talking about, Faintwaves, a landing page, like a single landing page, and you don't really get these. You can still get some, but it's, I don't know, it doesn't feel like there's much traffic on it to making a really nice website anymore. I mean, the host for our podcast, Libsyn, had changed their whole approach to having a show webpage, and I'd met with them on it because they do these. What do you call it? They'll do things where they'll actually meet with you as a customer periodically and get your input on stuff. And I'm one of the people who's like, yeah, I'll do a call. Let's jump on a call and let's talk about what my concerns are. And one of them was, yeah, you really dumb down the website option, the web page. And they were very frank and they said that's because nobody's using it. They said it's a very small portion. A very small portion of the people who have hosting plans use the website. Most of them just use our default template, which is really just a list of shows, and that's as far as they go. So they said it really wasn't worth it. Now, my suspicion, because not immediately, but relatively shortly thereafter, I started noticing that they were advertising that, would you like to put together a website? Canva can help you do that. And Canva ain't free. So I would guess that they had been approached at some point by Canva, or there at least was a discussion about, well, if we get rid of our custom web page thing, maybe we can partner with somebody who we can get some advertising money and let them build the sites. That's my guess. It was not something that happened the next day from when I had that meeting with them, but it happened pretty soon after. Soon enough that my brain immediately went, oh, okay. I don't blame them. It's fine. Like I said, there definitely is less of a focus on websites than there used to be, which I think is a real shame, because there's some wonderful design that can be done on websites. Don't get me wrong. I don't do any of it. My site is well designed for me. I don't pretend it's one of the best designed websites on the internet by any stretch of the imagination, but I like it. And I appreciate a good website when I come across it. And I also hate badly designed websites when I come across them, like The Verge. Boy, do I not like that. The Verge's redesign has not grown on me. Just has not. I just do not like fundamentally the way that website looks and is designed. And I think their philosophy makes no sense on what they explained as that redesign. I mean, that everything is blogs or some nonsense. It was whatever. They got sold a design philosophy by somebody, and they were trying to explain it. It's okay, happens all the time, but don't give me this everything is blogs explanation. I don't buy it for a minute. It's nonsense. That is not what makes you do that to a website. A very easy to navigate, readable website becomes that. And you're going to tell me it's because everything is blogs? Okay. Well, if you believe that, I got a bridge I can sell you. Real cheap. But whatever. There's still things about that I'm just like, okay, they did that redesign however many years ago, and they have not fixed some fundamental problems with it. Like I said, screams of, we paid somebody to do this and regret it, but we're not going to pay them to fix it, all over that site. But, whatever. I don't really care. Future blogs, okay. Doesn't make sense. But I'm not going to harp on it. I'm not going to use my whole stream to just harp on somebody else's poor design choices. But that I do miss there was a period where you really saw some beautiful website work. And you still do, don't get me wrong. There's still like type foundries and design places that still have this real knack for making a very beautiful website that you just enjoy being on and watching and seeing what it's doing. And you know, for me anyway, some of it is just like, wow, what are they doing to make that do that? It's really neat. I like that stuff. I get a kick out of that. But I have no trouble believing, as I've read in many places and somewhat heard directly and from people who do this stuff, that the traffic for actual sites. Fanwave says, boy, yeah, that Verge design is awful. I had forgotten. I have not forgotten. I will not let go of that. But checking it out just now, I saw that Fallout. Oh, really? Oh, it did? That's great. I did not see that. I mean, I thought I'd read that it was performing so well that it was almost inevitable. But really, let's see. Yes. Oh, that's great. Yep, right there, top of it on that ugly website. Oh boy, is that ugly. That is fantastic. Well, I am delighted by that. I will be reviewing that in full next week because I finished it. I think I must have mentioned that I finished it on the last stream because I had finished it by then. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't mention it because I was talking about other things. But anyway, I finished it and it was fantastic. I was very happy that they landed. Yeah, I think I did. I think I said that they stuck the landing. So I do think I talked about it in the last one. I must have. Because I remember saying, yes, they stuck the landing. I do remember that now. Yeah. So I will definitely be reviewing that for the show next week. in depth. I will probably, I will pull some clips for it because I can. That's right, I can, because that one is not subtitled or in a foreign language, as a number of my recent reviews have been. Geez, I wonder if I was planning to watch a movie for it too. I wonder if we'll have time, if I should just skip the movie. I'll watch the movie. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be any good or not. TV movies, so we'll see. TV movies can be very hit or miss. From 82, I want to say. Or is it from the 70s? Is that show from the 70s? Is that TV movie from the 70s? I don't remember now. I'll have to look. But yeah, you know what? I'll watch it. I'll watch it. Why not? It'll still be fun. And just in case it isn't as good as Fallout, you know, just talk less about it. But that's wonderful. I am really, really happy about that. You know, I honestly hope, I will say this, I hope they wrap it up in 3 seasons. Because just nothing seems to, not much makes it past 3 seasons. And I don't want to see that show end on a big cliffhanger that never gets resolved, Westworld style. I want that show to have an ending. And 3 seasons feels like, or seems like, what a lot of these streaming platforms are comfortable with now. The 3-season model seems to be palatable for them to go, okay, we'll let it go for this long, because I know that show's got to be expensive. It's got to be expensive for how good everything in it is. I mean, the CG is largely spectacular, and you know that's some of it, but also just some of the sets and everything, that the amount of detail they've gone into to recreate Fallout, that cannot possibly be a cheap series. I didn't look up budgets or anything like that, but I'm just telling you, there's no way it's cheap. I mean, there's no way. And I know Amazon's no slouch in spending money. I mean, look at Rings of Power, which, oh man, somebody's getting fired over that. But I would guess by the reception of it, I don't think this is what received this Fallout. I do have to watch it at some point. I told Lando I would watch it because I know he was really let down by it, and I have a hunch I wouldn't be as critical of it as he was, because I don't care about that stuff as much. I'm not as big into Tolkien and all that. I'm not saying that was the totality of his dismay with it, but I might be a little bit more forgiving of it because I don't care about any of that. I'm not a swords and sorcery guy, by and large. Pure swords and sorcery, I definitely am, but it has to be in the right wrapper. You know, like Kroll is swords and sorcery. I'm not even going to pretend it isn't, but it's so cool. It's got the glaive. It's got the glaive! And that saves it for me. That makes it much more palatable than it would be if it was just people riding around fighting, I don't know, whatever. What are those things called? Not the Beast. What were the Slayers? Slayers. If they were just riding around fighting Slayers, it would not be as cool to me as, you know, with the glaive in there. Give it that sci-fi edge and the disappearing castle and all that stuff. I know people don't like Kroll that as much as I do. That's fine. You don't have to. I love Kroll. I know it's not a perfect film by any stretch of the imagination, but I love it anyway. It's one of those times where they were trying to do essentially a Star Wars ripoff, and I think it worked even through all of its defects. So I don't care. I love Kroll. With all of its problems, I still love it. Because it's got the glaive! And the glaive is amazing! So I don't care. I don't care. I really don't. Put a glaive in your movie and you got me. You put a... Let's be honest. You put a weapon that is, for all intents and purposes, a pet of the hero of the movie, and I'm pretty in. Especially, you know, when you can mentally control it. He's thrown it. Actually, I shouldn't say the only. My major complaint about Kroll is twofold. One, and this is basically a movie making complaint about how the action is. One is that they don't use the glaive enough, and the other is that he loses it at the end. I cannot get past that they did not. I mean, it's on the one hand, I'm kind of in the way that it worked out, it's better, because I don't know whether they ever intended to make a sequel of that movie, but it never got one. So for him to get the glaive back, you would hope that then in the next film he would use it more, and there never was a next film. So him losing it, intentionally or not, because again, maybe they did intend it to be a one and done, but I doubt it. I mean, I seriously doubt they really didn't intend to make a sequel if it did well. Almost every movie was trying to do that at that point. But it works out better for us, the audience, because the glaive, they don't have that tease of more glaive. It's gone. It's stuck in the beast, and he leaves it behind, because then the fire of love becomes the super weapon. Yeah, that one's a little weak too, but you know, it makes sense with the beginning of the movie. I'm fine with it. So that's my other major complaint, is that he loses the glaive. He loses one of the coolest weapons that a movie's ever had in design and function and everything, and he loses it. And that doesn't lose it like he's a dope and somehow loses it. He loses it because it becomes embedded in the beast and he can't get it out. That's such a sad part of that movie too. It really is. The music and everything. That's the other reason why I think it's such an effective scene, is the music. If you go back and watch Kroll, and you want, or just look up the scene where he loses the glaive, the music is like sad, like he's trying to rescue a person. It has this real kind of tense and suspenseful, like, oh no, the glaive is going to die, even though it's not. It's an inanimate object. But there's this thing that he's reaching for it, and the glaive is trying. It's trying to come out of the beast. Like, you can see it. It's pulling and it's trying, and he's kind of like straight. It is like he's losing a friend, which, you know, he hasn't had the glaive that long, so it's sort of a little unbalanced, but I'd be like that too. I'd be like, I've got the coolest weapon in the universe, and I can't get it back. But that's what I mean, is that scene is played like the glaive is a person. That's one of the reasons I like it so much. It works really well, even though, you know, again, it's just a weapon. I shouldn't say just a weapon. It's a great weapon. But it's such an interesting scene because of the way the music and the way the actor is emoting for the thing, and he wants it back and he can't get it back. Oh, it's heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. You know, like, I mean, honestly, you know what it makes me think of? And this is, some people will be like, you're nuts. But it reminds me of when Atreyu loses, what was the horse's name? It's a famous scene where all these kids were traumatized by it. What was the horse's name in The Neverending Story? What was that horse's name? I want to say, no, it's not Abraxas. It's something like that, though. What is the horse's name? I don't remember. The horse, when the horse dies in Neverending Story. By the way, one of the reasons I never watch that movie anymore, that scene is utterly depressing. That is a very depressing scene. And imagine watching that as a young kid. That is depressing. To see that horse die. Atreyu's horse. I don't remember what the horse's name was, though. What was Atreyu's horse? Oh, I gotta look it up now. Hold on. Let's see. I know how to spell Atreyu's name, though. Atreyu. I can't type it because I suck at typing on a screen. Atreyu. Jeez, really? Why? There it is. Atreyu's horse. There it is. Artax. Yeah, so Abraxas wasn't right, but Artax. Yes. Artax. When Artax dies. Terrible. It's a horrible scene. I mean, it's a horrible scene. You know? Oh, God. It's so bad. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not bad filmmaking wise. It's a very effective scene. It's bad to watch it because you feel terrible. You know, and I know that's the point. Is that's it's not accidental. It's designed to be that way. But geez, man, that's such a horrific scene. Similar, and that's what I think of with the glaive. I think of it, Artax. I never remember the name, of course, but I think of that scene where Atreyu's losing the horse. When he loses the glaive. For me, the glaive is Artax. It just is. And it's a very sad scene to me. Because again, he has a... I'm going to just be very honest about it, because this will give you an idea of my... This is true. This is not an exaggeration. If somebody came to me in life and said, here's a lightsaber, and here's the glaive from Kroll, which one do you want? I'd pick the glaive before I could blink. I wouldn't even consider, Force or not, whatever. I mean, you do have the Force if you're using the glaive. That is the Force. Just letting you know. That's the Force. It's just the Krull didn't call it the Force. I wouldn't even think about it. I would take that glaive. Are you kidding? A magical item where those blades leap out and then you could just throw it? And I don't think there was any distance thing on that. He threw that thing pretty far and he was controlling it. So, yeah. It's the glaive, baby. In fact, I've got the glaive on here. Yeah, right there. There it is. You think I don't love this weapon? I love this weapon. I love it. I got to put that on a shirt. I got to buy that shirt. I got to put that on a shirt and then buy my own shirt. That's what I got to do. Wait, what is this? What is... Oh, I blacked that. I forgot. I didn't turn that layer back on. I got to put that on a shirt. I'm going to put that on a shirt tomorrow. Because now that I'm talking about it, I want to buy it on my own shirt. I don't care if nobody else buys it. I buy my own shirts. I don't care if anybody else buys them. That's fine. I don't care. Yes, the glaive. I love the glaive. It's so cool. Like I said, that's the only reason I really like... If Krull didn't have that, I would definitely not like it as much. Because it would just be swords then. It would just be swords and people running around on horses. And that's all fine. I don't have any problem with people liking that. It's just not my thing. I've always found the kind of classic fantasy stuff to be not bad. I'm not going to say it's bad. I enjoyed the Lord of the Rings movies. I know what the quality is of them. And I'm not going to pretend I haven't ever seen another fantasy film. I have. Like Princess Bride. Okay, Princess Bride. Yeah, I'm with you there. Great movie. But also kind of that's more of a comedy or satire or whatever, parody. Not a parody. It's not making fun of fantasy movies. It's just this very specific version of it. But in general, I mean, even a movie like Excalibur, something like that, I'll watch them. Dragon Slayer might be another exception. I like Dragon Slayer quite a bit. But that's mostly because I like the dragon. And that movie is it's got a very different approach for its time to dragons and everything. Not in the design, but like the movie itself it's very interesting. If you haven't watched Dragon Slayer in a while, you should. It's interesting what that movie does some unusual things, and I like it. So yes, if you've never seen Dragon Slayer with Peter McNichol, I want to say is his name. Janosch from Ghostbusters 2. Great movie. Because again, it's unusual. It's not like a typical fantasy film. In some ways it is. I'm not going to say it's completely breaking the mold, but it does some things that I really like about it. And I do like that dragon. That dragon scene where he's fighting the dragon is really good. Really good. Yeah, Dragon Slayer. I haven't watched that in a while either. I got to watch that. I haven't watched it long enough that I'm overdue to watch it. I got to watch it. Because I don't think my wife's ever seen it. I want to rewatch it and see if I think it's something she would like. Because I like finding movies she hasn't seen. Like Near Dark. That's probably my best find so far of movies she hasn't seen. That she really, really, really enjoyed. TV show-wise, Twin Peaks would probably be that. I don't think she ever actually watched it when it was on, but I loved it, so we watched it, and she really likes it now. We're actually in the middle of what we just started, season 3. David Lynch is such a great... He's so wacky. I love him. I love his just... I'm doing what I'm doing. If you're along for the ride, you are. And if you're not, I don't care. I love that attitude in his stuff. Love it. I think that's my favorite thing about him. Sorry, I just realized I was probably covering over the mic where I was talking. But, oh man, I love David Lynch. He's great. Even if I don't necessarily like all of his movies... said that before, but I love his attitude and his just, this is what I'm making. This is what I see. This is what you're going to see because this is what is in my head. That stuff's great. I can eat that up. I do eat that stuff up. All right, we're almost done here. I intended to go for an hour. Right at an hour. Perfect. Just do a few. There's going to be more to this, but that's where we are. You know what? Before I stop streaming, because I'm going to forget, I am literally going to put a calendar item on my phone to put Glaive shirt up for purchase. Calendar for tomorrow, please. Task. Glaive shirt. I do that. No. I put Glaive shirt, but I left the R out, which makes me seem like an idiot. So let's put 9 a.m. Glaive shirt. Save. On the calendar. Tomorrow, that glaive shirt's going up. Yes, it is. Okay. And I will purchase it on the same day. I may actually put, because I have two versions of that glaive. I have the glaive with the blades closed, and then one with them open. Front might be closed, and back might be open. I think that's what it's going to be. Yeah, that sounds good to me. You know what? This is a really good spot to leave this, because we're really getting there. We're getting there. Yep, good spot to leave. So let's go ahead and bring our screen up here. And I will disconnect. You know, I should put the Enterprise up there too. I'll show this to you for 1 second. Hold on, let's go back for a minute. Because I did do the Enterprise for something. I mean, that's, here. I think I'm going to put that up on a shirt too. Why not? I mean, I probably have to take the Starfleet symbol off it, because that probably would trigger a copyright thing. But you know what? I'll probably throw that on a shirt and just have something like, you know, I'm engaged. I don't know. I'll put something there. But I think I'm going to put that up there too. And see, I don't think they can get me copyright just for drawing the ship. As long as I don't have any, I don't know. I'm going to put it up there. Something happens. But the glaive is going up for sure. But I'll probably put that up there too. Anyway. Yeah, good, nice, solid hour stream. Only, what, one crash of the iPad mirroring software? That's pretty good. I think the last time I had 3, but software is all working. Things are cooking, man. I'm digging it. You know what I have to do? I have to put up some kind of graphic that periodically comes up with, you know, like with the site stuff. That I do need to get that graphic put together for this, because it would be good periodically to have it pop up. I mean, I know pretty sure yeah, there's that stuff across the top, so there is that, but something else. Anyway, before I just babble on for 5 minutes about nothing. Well, thank you, Faint Waves, for stopping by to watch the live stream. Appreciate it. Good luck with your site. Get that domain. Get it tomorrow. Don't forget. Here domain, gone tomorrow. That's a ridiculously stupid thing to say, but... And yeah, let me know about WordPress. Be curious, because I would like to have a good answer to that question. And the best answers that I can give to people when they ask me things, or to know somebody who's actually used something. I don't like just going by website recommendations. I like somebody to actually try something and say, yes, this works. That's my most reliable source of anything, is somebody telling me that they actually had success with it. So let me know, either on a stream or whatever. Or show email in. Or you can send me a message on... I still technically check Twix, even though I'm mostly Blue Sky now, because Twix is just dying. Can't wait till they're charging people for that. You see that? New users are going to be charged? Okay. That's going to work out. Anyway, on that note, if you are watching this at some other point, go find another wonderful YouTube stream where somebody is being creative, because it's good for you. It's mind, body, and soul nourishment. So go find somebody else who's doing something. Find somebody who's doing something different. You watch something visual for an hour now, go watch somebody making music, like State Azure, or somebody else who posts all these crazy videos on how they do things, or somebody who's doing, I don't know if anybody actually streams writing, but they might. Whatever. Go find somebody who's doing something different so you can get a lot of different inspirational sources, or somebody's doing a completely different medium. Go watch somebody doing watercolor, something that I will never in my entire life understand how anybody could do. It's like mysticism to me. But boy, when people are good at it, oh man, are they good at it. So anyway, thank you for stopping by in whatever capacity you have. And until the next stream, insert boilerplate words here. Until then, no, I can't say until the next stream, then until then. So, yeah, okay. Got it. So until the next stream, insert boilerplate language here. Thanks for stopping by, and take care.